than happy to basically get that item, especially in the entertainment district. Let's put it that way.
Lawrence said it would be worth about $1,000 to the right person.
Yes.
Or £1,000 to the right person.
£1,000 to the right person. Yes.
Which would help because that's the thing that accidentally changed my sex, and that is Max. And Max got some stuff he want to do, so that would help fund some of the things he wants to do. But just take a look at the inventory and see what you've got that you want to sell, and we'll see what we can do.
So we'll do that first, basically. Okay, so I think we have more than enough people to play. So you've all arrived back in London at this point. A little less successful than you'd hope, but still not basically unsuccessful. You've defeated 2 more of the Davenports. Only the elder Davenport Benedict remains. But you've also realized that he has a literal army of like vampire spawn and undead at his disposal. It was lucky that you got even close to the mansion to begin with, and lucky that you got away. So, if there's another confrontation, essentially, it's gonna have to be better planned. You felt that you were lucky that you had brought the paladins along this time. That was one of the few things that allowed you to escape. Is that you had a whole platoon of paladins with you at the time. That and some heroic feats basically from your own team. Some other things you realize that it's possible to enter the Davenport mansion basically through the Feywild because there's a portal to the Feywild there. Or basically contacting Gwendolyn, perhaps basically doing a favor for the Archfey there. And likewise, you can get back into the mansion that way without having to hopefully go through an army of undead.
That's nice.
So those are other valuable bits of information you have there. And then you have these various tomes of knowledge that you haven't really had the time to read while fleeing the vampire army. But the Victoria, the Battle Mistress, goes, I will report to Downing Street at this point, and the Crown our encounters with this undead force within Primrose, the county of Primrose. I'll see if I can get them to detach a suppression force. If you wish to come along, essentially, when we send the suppression force out, you're more than welcome, though that is not required. So, that'll probably take the better part of a month. However, Parliament moves slowly, especially when basically raising a force, basically expedition force inside country. First, I'll have to convince them that there's a threat to begin with. Now,
Dirk would like to ask the Battle Mistress if she can detect good and evil on these cats that we've ended up with, just to make sure we don't have any.
I can do that.
Okay.
You have paladins, like
okay.
4 of them. Now it's like
Dirk is deeply suspicious of the cats, and before we go any further, he wants to make sure we don't have a spy amongst us, because of course we have run into at least one cat familiar in the past.
All right, just that close.
Your divine sense doesn't really matter which one of you uses your divine sense. It could be Owl, Zumlar, or Burnheart. You all check your divine senses. You get some various different conflicting responses because some of you are associated with Tir Nog, some of you are associated with the Feywild. Owl is sort of like her own wild card thing.
You're not wrong.
So you all sort of have very different religious beliefs. So you get some of the cats basically are like a group of the cats belong to our Fae.
Okay.
So they have a loose association with the Fae, as like there's a slight glamour upon them as if they are Fae beings.
Interesting.
Wait, is Bing Bong part of the Fae?
Yes.
Like which cats? Oh, yes? Okay.
Yes. Does anybody actually try to identify one of the cats using the identify spell?
Oh, yeah.
I'll identify Bartholomew.
Okay. All right. The cats that have Fey heritage all belong to this. So they identify as belonging to the Jellicle host.
Okay.
Oh, babies.
And those people who basically actually have watched Cats the musical will know what the Jellicle host is.
God, I didn't know that was our nut cursed. Hate it. Love it. Hate it.
Lawrence is so awesome.
I've never seen Cats. Sorry.
The Washington Post had an article that they wrote where people wrote in about the substances that they took before they watched Cats the movie. And their experiences. It sounded quite interesting. I might have to get like
Cats the
super
movie
drunk and
was
watch
just
it.
like, was definitely one of those why. It was
Was
just
Yeah.
it 2019? I blame it for what happened in 2020, personally.
Really?
So Dirk's got this little black cat that's following him around that it's ended up getting called Josie because it's like Josie Wales. He really doesn't want a cat, but he keeps following him. So he would like to do identify on the black cat that's following him and make sure it's not sinister.
Lady Emma's cat is what is it?
Nibbling.
Is part celestial. So at least according to the various paladins using divine sense. Okay. And then,
Wait,
but
my cat
the
is
larger
celestial?
majority of the cats
Cool.
are all basically part of this, are part Fey, and they all sort of like they're all sort of lounging around and looking at you every so often. Then when you look at them more carefully, essentially it looks like they're lounging around again.
So
It's just
the one that's following.
You can see all the cats looking at you every so often.
So Bartholomew is the one that is hanging with Zumlar. Is that one of the Fae?
Let's see. Bartholomew is what is it? Part mystic beast.
And then the one that's following Dirk.
The one that's following Dirk is part of the Jellicle host.
Okay.
Nibbling is celestial. I'm thrilled about that.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think Burnhart's is that part of the.
Orange Tabby has definitely lived a hard life and has a sort of crooked tail. It's like one of his ears is chewed off. It's like his whiskers are uneven. It's like,
Wait, which one is this? Nibbling?
that's Lady Emma's cat, essentially the runty cat.
Yay!
She is baby.
Yes.
Little baby. Meanwhile, Bing Bo's just a deformed dum-dum.
You're back in the cat. You've gone to your various flats, and your cat seemed to be perfectly happy to follow along with you at this point, as if they've always been your pet and have never been away from your side. Some of you don't know whether or not this is good, and some of you are just going, "It's my fur baby."
Dirk is wondering if there's someone in the Feywild that maybe sent them to look after us, like the Duchess of Dusk or Gwendolyn or somebody else there.
And that's always a possibility. You're gonna have to do some actual research on what the Jellicle host is, essentially,
Okay.
at some point or another.
So my cat is
Can't
not
quite
part of the
spell when he
Jellicle
says
host?
that they belong to the Jellicle. It doesn't say what the Jellicle host is.
Okay.
So my cat is not part of the Angelica host, or
No, it is a mystic beast of some sort, essentially. So still an animal, but basically on the mystic side.
Awesome.
Okay,
I'm
so
going
you
to-
arrive back. You head back to your personal. Take care of personal items and do the general maintenance, repair, pay for rent, all that type of good stuff. Everybody pull out, what is it, 200 pounds essentially out of the group stores essentially. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 1,400 to basically just cover normal living expenses for your flat and maintaining your armor and your personal gear and getting everything repaired.
I think Zumlar's
Sorry, I'm
armor is
late.
probably going to be the most costly to repair.
Yeah.
Because how much?
Well, you've got a new, bright, shiny new set of armor at this point, but you have to pay an extra cost to go get it. Get all the regalia basically like chiseled off of it. Otherwise,
We're talking about. Yeah, we were talking about maybe getting a hat of disguise so that he could wear it as
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so Hat of Disguise, fair enough. That is an easy enough item to purchase from the Mages College. You head over there. The Enchanters Guild's like, Hat of Disguise, no problem. Let's see. We also have a Necklace of Disguise, Cape of Disguise, Wings of Disguise. They all roughly cost the same thing, £200.
Okay. I'll get a.
Zumlar, are you eating something
You have to
crunchy?
attune this item to yourself.
Oh,
So,
sorry. Yeah.
Hat of Disguise does require attunement, however. So if you are otherwise out of attunement slots, you need to give up a spot, essentially, for the Hat of Disguise.
I should have attunement slots. Yes. So is it Necklace of Disguise?
Well, it can be. They have various different forms of it. They have any piece of jewelry you can name: a hat, a cloak, a jacket, undergarments, underwear of disguise.
Oh my god.
Apparently, it's really, really popular.
To stay.
So
Uh,
what do you choose, Zumlar?
While Zumlar is in the haberdashery, I wander over to the tattoo department.
I'll do the.
The enchanter, a bright-eyed, like enchantress, like young human, with flaming red hair and bushy eyebrows. It's like runs up to you. I'd heard basically you were looking for magical tattoos and a way to enchant your claws. So I think I figured out a way. It's like, come with me. As she grabs you by the paw and like drags you off into the Enchanter's Guild, deep into the Enchanter's Guild. She stops at her desk and goes like, perhaps you would be interested in dipping your claws basically in mithril.
That sounds painful, but
Yes,
I already go through a lot of
molten
pain.
hot, and I'm sure it hurt a lot basically. But I think I have a way of bonding mithril to your claws.
Yeah, but I still need my claws for more than just
Killing.
claw stuff. Is there
Aren't you part canine? It's not like you can retract your claws anyways.
I mean, are there any other options?
Well, let's see here. There are armored gauntlets essentially that we could sheath your claws in to give your natural capabilities and enchantment, I guess.
Is there anything else?
I don't know, dentures. Have to remove their existing teeth out. It's like this sounds worse and worse.
Lawrence, there is actually a tattoo called the Eldritch Claw tattoo, which does exactly what I needed to. It's just like a +1 to unarmed attacks. But if you don't want to make it that simple,
No,
I'm
that's
happy to
perfectly
play along.
fine. I'm just saying you've met the somewhat impractical, basically enchanter out of the Enchanter Guild. So she's putting forth all these things that sound horrible. It's like, all right, fine. Basically, I heard you came up. You found some magical books lately. Did any of them have to do with enchantment?
I got this one, and I'll bring out my blue book that I've called the Frostfang Brand. That is the 2d6 cold or 1d6 cold damage per hit.
She takes a look at it. It's like, well, let's see here. She flips through the book some more. It's like, give me a week to look at this thing. Essentially, there's several more tattoos listed within the book. It's like, I find it fascinating, but it does not sound as cool, basically, as bonding mithril to your claws.
You're not wrong. That does sound pretty cool, but I'm not that into pain.
Isn't there some pain when we put the tattoo to you to begin with, essentially, that she pokes at the tattoo on your back and it's still sore?
Ah.
It's like, ow, ow, get that out.
All right, I'll let you hold on to that. I'll be back in like a week. Ugh.
All right, roll a d20 for your resident researcher.
Shit.
All right, so she has in about a week she has a solution for you, but I don't know if you're gonna like this or not. Essentially, we would basically have to shave off all the fur off your forearms and hands, and then the enchantment essentially would be placed upon your arm. We would have to tattoo your full arm.
The tattoo sounds better than molten metal, at least.
Well, I figure at considering it took roughly an hour to lay down the last tattoo and was relatively much smaller than this, essentially, this is going to take like 4 to 5 hours, and probably actually 2 or 3 sessions at 4 to 5 hours each.
All right, I don't think I have much else I need to be doing now. I'm just a hired muscle, so to speak.
Okay.
So I will I'll be right back.
Okay.
And I go and talk to Tree
so
and
it's like I'll gather. If you're interested, I'll start gathering their materials according to the book of Frost here. Let's see. If you're willing to just give me the book, basically, I'll trade you even up for the that tattoo. Let's put it that way.
Is this for the Frostfang tattoo?
This is for the book, essentially. She's saying there's lots of interesting enchantments in here that I've never seen before. It's like this area of magical tattooing happens to be relatively rare here. I'm told it was quite popular in Tir Nanog, but it's relatively rare here in London. So this is the only text we've seen so far of this type of enchantment, body enchantment. So if you're willing to trade the book for it, we'll consider all services for the tattoo to be free.
I mean, I got no use for it, and yeah, I guess.
All right. Okay, I'll start gathering materials, and I should be ready in about. I'll send a runner, but Thursday, so it's about 2 or 3 days away.
All right, I don't think we're going out of town for a little bit, so I'll be here.
All right.
Okay, and I
All right.
think
Now, Lawrence,
we had decided while we're here at the college, we had been wanting to get a way to do teleportation circle if we needed to, either more candles or a scroll or something, because we found several circles, but to activate it. Does that sound right?
Does anybody recall teleportation circles fifth level magic, right?
yes.
Is that what we would need to use one of those circles? Like there's one at Tiranaug, and we used the candles to get back the last time, but I don't want to get stuck there. So there's the Feywild, and there's Tiranaug, and there's the mansion. So how would be the best way to utilize those circles?
Get back into. You're probably locked out of using circles directly to the Davenport Mansion, but you can travel through the Feywild to the various gateways that exist within the Davenport Mansion. So you'd have to travel to the Feywild, probably using plane shift, and then or contacting some archfey and making a deal for transport through the Feywild.
Right.
And you know 2 people at this point. You know the Duchess of Dusk, and you know Gwendolyn at this point. So you could make a deal with either of those individuals. Let's see. Okay, so
Well, like when we got stuck to
either
Tiranaug.
a plane shift or a teleportation circle scroll is going to cost you, what is it, $275.
Okay.
Well, that's a good price. How much does a scroll of Find Familiar cost?
50.
50? Ooh. Guys, we could make our cats familiars, and we could cast our spells through our cats.
What
Oh,
spells?
I like the idea of that. I don't know if I have too many spells, but yeah.
And you could
Oh my-
telepathically communicate, eliminating the need for beast bond.
Well,
Which
let's
I mean,
just
I can
put it this
does
way,
already
you're still
communicate
gonna
with
have
most
the-
animals.
I'm pretty sure the only people that can do this are going to be wizards and sorcerers and perhaps warlocks.
What about
All the divine
bards?
casters cannot cast the familiar spell.
What about a bard?
Bard
Bards can
probably
do
might
just
be-
about anything, so
Bard through basically what is it? Mystic Secrets can probably pick up basically the familiar spell if they want it.
yeah, find me something Bard can't do. It doesn't exist. Bards can do everything.
Yeah, that's right at certain levels, but I want Lawrence to
Technically, if
tell
you're
me
a
what
lower
at my
bard,
level.
If you're not that type of bard, essentially, no, I don't think you can get the familiar spell.
Okay, that's
It
fine.
still has to be off your spell list in some way.
Okay. Or you can take a feat when you get your next ability
No,
improvement.
I think teleportation circle still shows up on the cleric and the wizard spell list, which is why in theory you should still be able to use that scroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then for like druids, next, I think I need 3 more levels, but I'll be able to get like tree walk or whatever.
Teleport via plants is a 6th level spell.
Yeah.
6th level? Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's those paladin levels
And
of really.
essentially, there is a circle of druids outside of town. Essentially, no one's actually talked to them recently, and there's a circle of druids inside of town as well. You may want to go talk to their hierophant and see if you really need to be transported around either to the Feywild or through a tree. I'm sure the druids will be willing to help you for a price. Let's see here. Okay, so let's quickly go through the selling of stuff first, and then we will come back to the buying of stuff next.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay, girdle of opposite alignment. There's all sorts of what is it? Burlesque shows and shows with queens that seemed like the fertile ground for selling this item. Because you're in an area where basically sex changes basically aren't necessarily easy to come by. But there's still a demand for it, essentially.
Telling me not everyone's a castrati here? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
What?
Castrati? Have you not heard of that?
No.
We don't have
No,
to
but I
go
just
there
inferred-
right now. No, that's a big can of worms. Let's do that off.
I just inferred the meaning based off of how it sounds.
You're not wrong.
For singing, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
Things.
so Mac, you're the one that has this girdle in your pack. Do you want to go and inquire?
All right.
Um,
The person that seems to be like a reasonable person to ask is the Black Fairy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Krishana wants to go with Mac.
Alright, I will pick Krishana up and put her on my shoulders, and we will be off.
All right, you head over to the CD part of the South Ward. There's a huge Moulin Rouge style like pleasure house here with various men and women hanging out the windows, calling their wares in probably the rudest way possible, in various explicit details. It's like, you're here for a little bit of fun. It's like you're into human women. I'm sure basically we can find somebody that's into wolves.
I got a kennel too.
You head over to Kay's, which is the Black Fairy's cat house / entertainment parlor. The main
cat house.
the main ring where you last saw the Black Fairy having a WWE wrestling match with somebody easily 20 times her size is has two female wrestlers at this point, each having each other in a headlock and trying to like choke each other out at the moment. One blonde, one brunette. You can see the Black Fairy herself, sort of sitting bored, picking at her nails on the on a sort of like high balcony, maybe about 3 stories above, looking down onto the proceedings. All right, do you go directly to the? You basically mingle around first, or do you head directly over to the Black Fairy?
Mack is not one for social situations. He's here strictly on business, assuming he knows how to do business.
Heading up to the VIP lounge, as it were. He's like, "Oh, hey, you're that furry fella that got into the ring with the Black Fairy. You came out on top. Like, don't see that very often. Head on up. I'm sure the mistress is be more than happy to see you."
Oh well, thank you very much. I will give him like just the smallest of woven curtsies that I can and head on up the stairs.
On the shoulder and basically do the sort of mock deep bow, just like.
Like Mack has a -1 to his charisma. He understands at least the minor intricacies of putting on a show of like in the ring, and that's like as much as he understands of the performance skill.
Right, the rest of you are that came along are sort of trundling along the back. It's like they're with me. Like, as they let you all up into the VIP section. Eventually you get in front of the Black Fairy herself. It's like, "Oi, Mack! Long time no see. So, what brings you by my pleasure den?"
We actually came across a very curious and, funnily enough, queer item, and that is indeed quite the pun, because this belt, in fact, is a... Indeed. It is a gender-changing belt. Poor Dirk here, in trying to figure out what it did for me, suffered the effects, and we thought you, if not wanting to buy outright, might know of someone who would pay a very pretty penny for it.
Oh, I'm sure some of my performers would love to have this particular item.
And I think it's multi-use too. Like it can be passed around. It's not like I'm fairly certain it still has like it still works. Well, then again, we didn't try it after it hit Dirk.
Yeah, why don't you try it, Mac, and then we'll know.
Yeah,
Honestly.
good one. I'm kind of just
Honestly,
holding it
if it-
out like it's a dirty
Well,
pair of laundry. Like I really don't want this thing to affect me.
Just saying, you're offering it for sale, and then you're wondering right to her face if it still works or not.
Mac also
Yeah, that-
has an intelligence of -1. It is not his strong suit.
That is a -1 for sure.
Personally, I believe that you could run an entire business off this one item alone. However, there would be a no refunds policy.
Of course,
No
there's no
reversal.
refunds policy because it can't be undone, as far as I know. We haven't.
Well,
Can
I
we
don't think-
ask her if she knows
That's a
if it's
big issue
undoable?
for, some of the individuals, basically, that I have in mind for that.
Madam, do you
You interested in so the Black Fairy goes, "Queenie, you interested in being a woman?" It's like, been interested for a long time. It's like, you got something that can arrange that for me? Yeah, these fine ladies and gents have a girdle that can switch you over to being a woman. It's like really? It's like, tell you what, I'll buy it for you if you decide to basically stick on with me for about 3 months exclusive gig. It's like so Queenie's obviously a queen. She has a big blonde wig and like a girdle that has been cinched in very tightly to and falsies to make himself or herself look like a woman. It's like she's like, well,
You should rent it, not sell it.
oh, like the problem is essentially I am not really interested in offering this as a service, so it's like, but I'll pay your fee. What are you looking for this item?
I will lean down to Dirk's ear and say, "What should I ask for it?"
1,000.
Because I really don't know.
That's a fair price. 1,000.
I think. Well, no, I think this is an item you could run an entire business off of. Let's just sell it for like 3 or 4 grand and get it off our chest, so we don't have to worry about it.
We were told when we got it that it would be worth about 1,000.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right.
If you want to discuss that with Lawrence, you can, but that's what I wrote down.
You can always
you
start
know-
with a highball price and then negotiate down from there.
Yeah, Mack unknowingly is going to start with a highball and ask for 2,500. And that is like he's going to try and bluff it, but that's like a complete guess.
Well, it's unfortunately not worth that much to me. How about 1,200?
Can we call it 1,250 and call it a deal?
Negotiate a lower price, 900. Okay, deal.
Did you mean 12,500 rather than 1250?
Wait, 12. Now I'm getting confused. Are you saying it's 12,500 or 1,250?
So she's offering basically 1,200 at the moment. So
I'm asking for 1,250. I want half of. If I can get half of what I asked for, I'll be happy. Because if I remember correctly, I did not even pay for this belt. I yoinked it very carefully.
Yeah, but Dirk ended up paying for it, so we've got some.
Yeah,
We've got some in it.
that's why I asked for Dirk's opinion.
Like uncrosses her legs and basically puts her elbow down on her knees, like 1250 it is. Gronk, go ahead and pay these fine adventurers their fee. You got anything else interesting in that bag of yours?
That's all I got. Anyone
Okay.
else?
Do you still have the monkey's paw, Mac, or did you get rid of that when we sold the last time?
Actually. I found this in a shop of curios from one of my friends, and he's just like, "Yeah, you can have it." I don't know if it's a real monkey's paw, but if rumor has it, I don't. Look at me. I'm already cursed enough. I don't need any more.
You'll be fine. You can do more.
Quit putting on every item we find. We wouldn't be so cursed.
Are all your items going to be cursed?
I don't know.
Only the ones that are stolen. he coughs to myself.
I didn't steal this monkey's paw, though.
That's how these that's the provenance of these items. Well, I assume you got them from a fairy source. That's why they're all cursed. Well, if that's gonna be the way it is, then I can't offer you much for a monkey's paw.
But you can
I'm
be
sure it's
certain
useful
that
to
no one.
somebody. Unfortunately, it's like I'd have to get it. I'd have to basically get it cleansed first, though.
But you can be certain.
How about 450?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna use it for anything. I didn't even.
Man,
Mac
don't say
is
that. You're trying to sell it, man. Up talk.
If we're letting him be the face of the party, we're going to be getting interesting amounts of money. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're gonna be.
You're letting the person
low.
with minus
The
1
other
inch
thing,
and
the Black Fairy likes Mac.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was the one basically that actually decided to get into the ring with the Black Fairy.
Okay.
That's what I'm betting on. It's like I'm betting on her goodwill. I'm not trying to like extort her. I'm just like, hey, I don't need these. Can like you do something more with them and I get compensated? That's like my approach to this. Because Mac does not try and sell himself as very bright.
She's been a good ally for us, and so we want to have reasonable arrangements with her, I think is
Exactly.
Kevin's take on this. Now we also we got a bunch of clothing and jewelry from Kevin's bedroom. Would she be interested in any of that for any of her people or her shows or anything?
A vampire masquerade?
Jewelry? Sure. I can offer you 1,000 for this.
Okay.
So I will mark my. Is that an exchange? Mark 450 for the monkey's paw.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, how that went down.
Since some individuals in your team seem to want more out of this, I'll offer you drinks on the house for well, let's see here. Free reign of the house for 3 evenings. How's that? So, if
You
you
are
ever need
most
to hide
welcome.
out, if you ever need basically assistance from the House of K, come on by and I can hide you out for at least 3 evenings. That plus
That?
it's like we're not a bad place to hang out, are we? It's like
No. Other than
just waves expansively to all the pleasures to be had in K's Pleasure Palace.
Having a
Yeah.
safe place to hang out sounds
The
like.
half-naked trapeze artist basically does a backflip over the top of you guys to another waiting
No.
hands trapeze artist.
it's not even bad. It's a little
Unique.
quite risque, but nothing dangerous as far as I can tell. And I think I have a pretty. I'm not good with the whole business sense, as you might have guessed, but danger sense.
That's why
I got
like
that.
you. That's why I like you, Mr. Mack. You're a simple person with simple pleasures.
Now, when we were down in the lair, Matt got a red dragon horn and red dragon teeth.
Oh, that's my chewing stick. Don't touch that. It just sort of has like how a dog will like chew on a bone for like months. That's what this red dragon horn has become.
Well,
Just my
maybe,
chewing bone.
I'm thinking either at the college or here, it might be enough money that we could find you another stick, buddy.
I'm not against it. If you can get me an equal stick and more money, it's yours.
Yeah. Let's see if she has any use for it. If not, we'll check at the college, and I'll get you a stick. I promise.
Well,
wouldn't
not
mind
it. I call it
trying
chewed stick. It is very, very tasty bone. Dragon marrow is top of the line.
But if you've
Have
been
you
chewing
actually
on it
thought
for
of
a
that?
month, it's yeah.
The Black Fairy sort of like strokes her chin for a moment. It's like, can't say that I have any interest in that.
Okay.
Boy, have you
Um.
actually fought a dragon?
Doesn't
No, we
Lady
fought a
Emma
dragon's head.
sort of like
It was an
dice
animated dragon skull, and it was shattered, and I just have like a piece of its horn. It's quite
I would
tasty.
very much like to fight a dragon.
Okay, you said it.
Technically,
Somebody.
all of you have seen a dragon. The Jabberwock is technically a sort of dragon, but it's just like
I don't want to kill the
this thing looks
Jabberwock.
like terrifying. We do not want to.
Someone got a sword amulet from the cult lair, but I wasn't sure who it was. Who has that? Are they using it?
Sword amulet?
What?
When we went to the cultist lair, one of the things we got was a sword amulet, which I think is like an amulet that turns into a sword when you need it. Does
So
anybody
it's a
know?
hidden weapon.
Okay.
That doesn't sound familiar.
All right.
Yeah.
Dirk will hang on to that then.
Lady Emma has some sort of dice that she picked up, magical dice that she picked up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are they magically loaded dice?
Something like that.
It's like a luck roll. Like it's not wild magic, but it seems to do stuff sort of like that.
Yes, you roll it and basically see what fortune has for you that day, essentially.
Maybe she'll keep that.
Yeah,
Be
I think.
useful later.
Okay, and then we got some gems, and I know there was a what was it? I'm trying to think.
If you got gems and jewelry, I suggest talking to the goldsmiths.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
They're much better judges of jewelry than I am.
When we
gems?
when
Most of
Gems
most
and
of what my she waves to her extensive crew around her. Most of us are wearing paste. It's like
okay.
costume jewelry at best. It's too real jewelry is too valuable to possibly lose in
Or
a
break in the ring.
Well, we got most of the jewels that we have gotten had specific things for specific people, but there was one when we killed the golem, and I didn't have anything written down except that we got the gem out of it, and so I don't know what
Yeah,
that was.
that's effectively a golem core. Like what I think you got 1 or 2 of them that were still intact and not broken. So those could basically be a basis for creating a new golem. You'd have to get a manual of golem creation. You might actually have one from the library, the Mystic Library from the Davenport Mansion.
Dirk has 3 books that he has not investigated. Yeah, so we can check that out. So we'll not worry about that. And then, there's that globe paperweight. I think Zumlar has that. Do you need that?
What does that do again?
If you look
It
at
holds
it's like a
paper
snow
down.
globe, it appears to have a miniature study. It's like a miniature, like a ship in a bottle of it, but it depicts a study with a small wizened old man, essentially. And when you shake the globe, papers fly around it. But it is enchanted in some way, and it has a powerful conjuration magic on it, or it has a powerful transmutation magic on it.
So maybe we need to check at the college.
Yes.
Yeah, let's check. We'll see what it is first before we
Okay.
sell it. It could be useful.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it could be dangerous too. Oh, I know. So when we got into the coach for the Davenports, they had a magical cold box, and that seems like the sort of thing
Yeah.
that the Black Fairy might really like.
Well, I'm just saying that is not something that was built into the coach, so that is not
Oh.
with you anymore.
Okay.
I was about to say that's what I keep max stakes in.
I thought we
the
might have.
cold box was actually to keep bodies in. Is roughly the size, just large enough to fit 2 corpses.
Okay, fair enough. I thought we might have stashed it somewhere. So, does anybody have anything else that they're carrying around that they feel like they would like to try and sell either here or at the college?
Okay, so as far as selling random gems, essentially, give me the rundown of what you've got and jewelry.
Show me what you got.
We'll assume I don't think we're gonna role play that part out.
Okay,
so.
yeah, I think most of those had something particular. Like Zumlar got one, and it had something written celestial in it, and then so I think we probably need to get those looked at the college and see what magical things are going on with them.
You also got like regular money, right? Like stuff that could be sold for money. So
just valuables
listed down at this point because I didn't keep a clear inventory of that. I was hoping.
Do we need?
Well, I have been keeping a list, and so all of the things that got mentioned I wrote down through like the last one, and then I had us at 3,600 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to sell my chainmail.
It's like sturdy set of chainmail. I'm sure in one of my bodyguards or theater thespians can use this on stage.
I'll sell my old armor.
How about 35 gold pieces?
35 gold seems fair. Sure.
So I'll sell my old set of armor.
Do you have an old set of?
So
are you just selling off your old full plate at this point?
Yeah.
All right. So like, all right, 1,000 gold.
Also, armor of gleaming. I think I can sell that because I'm not using it.
Okay, so is that the armor you got from Tir Nanog?
I don't think so. Maybe it is. I thought mine was the mithril plate.
I thought it was just literally +1 mithril plate. I don't think it had any armor of gleaming. I think it's just armor that never gets dirty.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
all
think.
it is.
Yeah, I have
that
mithril.
is exactly what
The one I have active right now is mithril plate.
Which, to be fair, I don't think mithril plate can get dirty either.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're selling your old set of plate mail that is slightly enchanted. Just like, all right, 1,200 for that. I'm sure we can use it in the theater productions or something.
Awesome.
Dirk has his halfling-sized chest plate since he's got his armor slipperiness now.
All right, so
the lube armor
normally like 250.
Okay, that's cool.
So if it's 250 new, let's say half of that's like 125.
Okay, fair enough. Trying to clear out some.
Do I still need jade? Do I still need that jade?
That had some
the
effects.
Jade that controls the zombies. I feel like that might be useful.
Could also screw with the user if I roll bad.
Well, I don't think we want to sell it to the fairy queen.
That's true.
I think
she might not.
Yeah, we got some advice on that from the college, and I think was that the thing that we had locked in the iron box.
Yes.
Okay, so we may need to get another metal box, but let's not let go of that. We may need that down the road.
Cool.
I'm gonna sell my javelins.
Why?
Because I have spells. within equal or greater range.
All right. You're sort of finding that she's not interested in your javelins, and you find that most people are not interested in buying back javelins. So.
And
Okay.
honestly, sometimes you're going to be out of sell slots. It wouldn't hurt to hang on to a couple of them. It's not a big deal to carry
Yeah.
them. They're pretty lightweight.
Okay.
I think that's most of the stuff that we had that didn't have something special about it.
Fair enough.
And then everybody can take a look at the inventory. I'll go in and update it for what we sold, but everybody can go and look at the inventory and see if there's anything listed under them that's special and decide what they want to do with it. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Oh, hey Lawrence. Rewind real quick. For the tattoos, I gave her the book. Is it? Am I getting both the Frostfang one for the cold damage as well as an Eldritch Claw, just so I can finally start hitting magic things?
Yes, you're getting both of them together.
Lovely. Is it one
So
item or is it two
You
items?
already have the basically frost enchantment that gives you 1d6 elemental damage. I just seeing the +1 enchantment apparently required some more work.
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
So I will.
you
And two different items, which each require an attunement slot, correct?
yes, magical tattoos all require attunement slots. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row, so all of it, works. Okay, thank you.
It's not that your tattoos get removed when you unattune them. It just means they're non-active. Let's put it that
Gotcha.
way. You can
Gotcha.
always spend an hour to reactivate that tattoo, but yes, you have to invest a little bit of your soul into it to make it work.
Just like rips off his own tattoo skin. Oh no.
I
just skin myself alive. I don't need these anymore.
Okay, so we sold
my own skin. Okay, let's see.
we sold 5,060 to the Black Fairy, so that since we spent our 3,600 pretty much, we at least have a little spending money, so that's good.
Did we get potions of we got 6 potions, 2 of each color? Does anybody remember that, or am I going crazy?
We got potions from I think the Battle Mistress, and they were healing potions. Is that
So as far as I know, most of the healing potions got used during the basically campaign.
Yeah,
so
so.
out there.
I still have 2 potions of healing.
Yeah, I'm saying most everybody's probably back down to the 1 or 2 potions you started with.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I figured too.
Okay, the only other, and then there were some unique potions in there. There's a potion of gaseous form. There's a potion of invisibility. What was it? There was a potion of stone skin in there as well, I think. So at least those 3 unique ones I recall offhand. So I think you went through our chemical lab and found those 3 potions.
Okay. All right.
Let's see here. Okay, so all right, did you have normal gems and jewelry that you needed to unload or no?
I don't think so.
I think someone typed them in chat. Oh.
Krishana has a gem that she wanted to spend on rituals.
Okay, so you got, I think, all right, so I'm assuming we're heading to Cambridge College at this point. So you head off to the College of Mages. For whatever reason, you managed to cross by the Necromancer's Guild on the way in this strange Addams Family mansion with a continually black cloud raining black rain down over the eaves of this sort of slightly damp building that looks like it's bleeding black stuff out into the lawn. It's
I'll just open the door real quick. Say hi, Lester.
You see the caretaker Lurch currently basically digging what appears to be a large grave. It's like,
who died?
Adventurers, see you again soon. As he basically dumps some grave dirt.
That's not ominous at all.
Everybody passes our way eventually, as we're all going, geez, thanks, guys. Like, as you wave at him.
Owl's just happy to see him because she's still thankful about Whisper because of their preserved mouse brought her this bird.
Yes, Whisper.
So she's just...
Whisper, of course, basically gives the ominous. Just like. All right, you head over to the College of Enchantment, which is they're the best at looking at weird items, anyways. So it's like the Yulia, the overeager researcher grabs Mack and says, "Good news! We're going to be ready sooner than you thought." It's like,
Lovely.
come on with me. It's like,
It's really weird. I'm just imagining my mom when she was young, because that's kind of like what you're describing. Is like fiery red hair, slightly bushy eyebrows, European descent.
yes.
So Dirk wants to talk to.
It's like she straps you, starts strapping you down in a chair. Is this absolutely necessary? It's like no, it'll be fine. It's like won't hurt a bit. As you're going,
It'll be fine.
And she begins to basically, she pulls out a straight razor and starts shaving all the hair off your arms.
I would like to rage.
You tense up. It's like, hey, that's really convenient. All your hair is standing on end.
Oh, I'm gonna need something for this.
Do you need a feather duster?
Did you want a sedative, Mac?
All right, so
that actually
anyways,
sounds kind of good right
start
now.
your first like 3-4 hour sessions of tattooing. It's like she's basically putting she's using
Max gonna be bald.
she's basically casting prestidigitation, basically putting some like markers down essentially for the tattoo currently. She has this old sea salt of like a tattoo artist. Is like he has like one eye. It's like, his hand doesn't look very steady, and he has this tattooing rig basically with like multiple needles and just like and a paddle that he uses to like to slap the needles in. It's like somehow basically in like Mack's mind he thought this would be a more sophisticated operation. Instead you basically have this old sea salt and this overeager researcher basically doing your tattoo. The rest of you basically head off and talk to your normal
Guys?
mistress, the enchantment as one of the senior researchers. This middle-aged gnomish woman, like her head basically covered over by like a half demi-hood. It's like, well, welcome back. So what do you got for me today?
Well, Dirk wants to ask about his obsidian eye with the rune on it, because we've never really been told what it is. So he'd like to ask if there's anyone here who might be able to tell him information about his eye.
Okay, did we already give it any attributed powers at this point or no?
No, we hadn't. It's obsidian. I can see out of it. It has one rune, and it happened from the defense column at Tirnanog.
Okay.
The thing they gave me, the big tattoo script contract on my back, also gave Dirk their eye.
Right.
Okay, now
Her eye.
That enchanted my sword.
She's she takes one look at. She basically she reaches under her desk and pulls out like this welding helmet and like this giant pair of gauntlets, and has this extremely long set of like steel tongs, and just like, you mind handing that over to me? Put it at the end of the tongs.
So Dirk's gonna pop his eye out and put it on the end.
Mack is glad he is not there to see this.
She grabs it and like drops it in this like white crucible. Drops all sorts of reagents on it. Just like black smoke starts pouring out of the crucible. It's like what is it with you people and ultra cursed items essentially?
We're consider us well rugged experts.
Or
I'm
accident-prone
just gonna say,
adventurers.
it's like dealing with cursed items of this caliber is gonna shorten your life dramatically.
Needs life.
Okay, guys, let's hear. So, do you recommend I not put it back in here and take up an eye patch?
Well, if it gives you some useful capability, sure. But she eventually lifts the welding helmet and goes, "All right, well, I have some good news and bad news. So the good news is this will allow you to see enemies of Tir Nanog. The bad news is that it will eventually drive you to. It will eventually drive you basically to seek vengeance on those that have wronged the court of Tir Nanog.
Man, where does that sound familiar?
One of us. One
Okay,
of us.
Well,
guys,
well,
Alright, Zumlar,
guys,
it's that time
guys.
again, time to rip your eye
Essentially,
out.
its curse mark is already upon you, so it you'd have to go through an atonement through a high priest at this point to get rid of it. I cannot do that for you as a secular wizard.
Okay, so there's
so
no.
I look at
Okay, I'll be back.
I have to spell
In the meantime,
ceremony.
essentially, the longer you have this on you, I think the more powers it will grant you over time, essentially. But in the meantime, you'll be able to identify hidden or obvious enemies of Tir Nanog, essentially. So it will allow you to see through magical darkness, illusion spells, disguises, essentially hidden passageways, essentially. So long as you're seeking the goals of the curse.
Okay.
Man, is it that time of the campaign already?
Hmm?
Is it time for...
Zumlar doesn't mind any of this. The rest of you obviously are not as keen on that basically particular goal because it's like, I like London. I live here.
Is it time for Ryan to rip out his character's eye again?
That's what I was asking. I was going to ask Dirk if I
No,
could
it's
have
just
the spy.
Zumlar volunteered essentially. He's just like, I swear vengeance on all the enemies of Tir Nanog. He's already done that.
Yeah, I've
Owl, you don't get it. This has been a running joke for like the past 3 campaigns.
Oh.
My first campaign ever that I joined.
Night vision? Sure. Rips out his own eye, and I'm just like, oh god.
Yeah, so we would fought like these dwarves, and one of them had like a gem in their eye socket. I heard night vision, so my character ripped out his own eyeball and popped the gem in.
Without even thinking, and me
Yeah,
being
without-
the healer was just like, oh god, let me fix this. Because, you know, he was just a fighter. He literally ripped out his own eyeball. I'm like, oh god, what is wrong with you?
Jesus.
But it worked though. It was pretty OP though.
Yeah, well, yes. That
Also very
happened to
cursed.
be is like that happened to be an artifact that was used by the master assassin to talk to the god of assassins, essentially. So
Something assassins and dwarven crafting or something.
no, just like he's sort of the god of assassins, essentially. So
Bugbear, I think it was.
dwarvish god, basically of thievery and assassination or something along those lines. But that's.
That was like 4
But
games
anyways,
ago.
essentially,
Guys, I
Zumlar,
didn't.
of course, continued to make deals with the God of Assassins for more power over time. And God of Assassins always demanded blood as payment, so he was always bleeding out of like one.
Right. Pay hit points, get night vision. That was it.
Or get healed from all ailments. Or see the unseen, or see through illusions. Yeah.
Sorry for the derail. It was a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Okay,
Fair enough.
Dirk still doesn't quite understand the curse that's on him. Can we take a couple of minutes to do that, guys?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then I'm gonna look at Dirk and say, hey, can I have that eye real quick? Can I have the eye?
Not till I find out what's going on with it, Zumlar.
Mom,
So,
please, can I have it?
Sure, you've already basically
Please.
dedicated yourself to Tir Nanog. It's Tir Nanog's.
right.
At this
Yeah.
point, you've made another oath as a paladin at this point, and you'll be granted powers from that oath provided you fulfill.
Are you talking to Zumlar?
Talking to
Yeah.
Zumlar, as far
Oh,
as Dirk
okay.
is concerned, it's like the senior enchantress that you're talking to is just like, all right, well, it is a cursed item essentially that will allow you to root out the enemies of Tir Nanog.
You guys just hear Pain screaming and howling from down the hall.
Okay.
You're doing fine, Mac.
Is
You're
there
okay.
any way to lift the curse?
Yes, essentially, you would have to go through an atonement ceremony with a high priest. Whether or not that's the old gods or the Christian god, either one would be fine, essentially. But you'd have to go through an atonement ceremony.
I have
Okay.
trained in this, and I can guide you through the meditation process, but it's up to you to fully forgive yourself for what you've done.
We're just talking in practical terms. I'm just saying it actually has to be. I think they got rid of the actual atonement spell in this edition of the game, but
It's
like,
just wrapped into ceremony now.
But I'm saying in reality, essentially, I need the higher level get remove cursed, which is like the 6th level spell.
Remove
thought you
curse
were
is a
saying
3rd
that-
level spell, but I think there might be a higher one you're thinking of.
I'm saying they got rid of it in this edition of the game, but I'm just saying for our campaign, it still exists essentially. So there is the spell atonement that is 6th level.
As
Okay.
DM says, DM goes. I'll like.
So this
play
is
along.
get rid of like high level curses, basically. And
Okay.
low level curses are just simply destroyed by the spell.
So, guys, it may be useful to be able to see enemies of Tirnanog. However, Dirk was just told that his life is going to be shorter dealing with this thing. So, you know, it may not be something that Dirk wants to hang on to.
Okay, and that's fine. So just get rid of the thing, essentially. So that's just
Yeah.
another plot thing to get rid of.
Okay, sounds cool. And so, the high priest would go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, is that a thing we sell?
No, it's something you just basically go and get rid of, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry.
So, well, because if we lift the curse, maybe Dirk would get his eye, or her eye back, right?
Well, I'm saying you can get it regenerated. That's not a
Yeah.
big deal. By the time you're dealing with a high priest, they can regenerate your eye, no problem.
So that could happen over at St. Mary's or with the old gods.
Yeah, so you could either go to the druids cairn in the south ward, or you can talk to the high priest at St. Mary's.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Question: does Dirk look human at all? What I know Dirk is a halfling, but are halflings just seen as like, pardon my terminology, midgets, or like are they a fey species?
Halflings basically look like well, they look like small humans for all intents and purposes. You have slightly bobbed ears, but you could easily pass as a child. Let's put it that way.
That's why I ask, how human does Dirk
I'm
look?
saying, as far as halflings are concerned, we're going to say they're one of those races that probably cross the line between humans and the Fae.
All right. That was me just, being curious. Because Dirk, for this entire series, has seemed fairly human, even though...
Yeah, so I'm saying Dirk, born and raised in London, essentially considers himself a Londonite. So... All right. Was there anything else that needed exploration here at with the Enchantress?
Okay, Ryan, what else did you have on your list?
I'm going to be occupied for, I don't know how much we want to time jump this. I'm still stuck here for like 15 hours total across like 3 days.
Krishana.
Shopping montage, Lady Emma's Apprentice, and Lady Emma's Familiar. Krishana component supplies. We got the eye. Yeah, Lady Emma and Krishana are the last two on our shopping trip.
To buy some spells, so it's 50 gold per level of the spell.
I'm sorry, were you guys speaking to me?
I heard other items listed there. Is like, did you want the Enchantress to look at any of these other stuff, or what?
I don't think we have anything else. At least
Okay,
I
well,
don't think, but I'm not the one.
Well,
Okay.
you had the
Did
snow
you-
globe, and then I heard a gem with celestial written all over it, and then
Zumlar has the gem, and we already had somebody look at owls. Krishana's got the ruby, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
mine. I think my ruby is just a plain ruby. I was going to trade that for rituals for my book.
okay, so there's like then you need to buy spell scrolls and scribe them into your book. There's 50 gold per level of the spell that you want to scribe in there.
All right,
Did we want?
The ruby,
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead.
basically that you pulled out of an idol was worth 500 gold.
I'm going to buy 400 worth of rituals. Do you want me to list them?
Yeah, just like spot them in the chat once you have the list ready.
Did we want to inquire about protection from the Yellow King here? Because,
Ooh.
granted, Tree, what I told you was purely speculatory.
So, like, St. Mary's has probably one of the most. Cambridge and St. Mary's basically have some of the most prestigious and large libraries here in London. So, and some of the most learned sages, and academics. So, if you want some research done about something, then this is either of those two places basically can do it for you.
I think the last time we looked into the Yellow King, we understood that Owl and Krishana were both at risk, and they were probably going to need to seek help for their individual deities. But it wouldn't hurt to know more about him, especially since he's in Tirnanog, and I think we're going to need to dislodge him out of there if anybody else is going to go back. You guys were talking about trying to send the royals back. So nobody can go back while he's there. It would probably be a good idea to do some research on this.
Yeah.
And Lady Emma still wants to find a familiar.
Okay, so if you don't have the spell already, it costs you 50 gold to get the spell. Then you can subscribe it into your book and spend 25 gold to have a familiar buddy.
I already have the spell.
Okay, so if you already have the spell, you just need to spend the 25 gold to make your current pet your buddy.
Beautiful.
Nibbling.
Perfect.
I'm excited.
Okay.
It's so good.
So, can we talk to somebody like who would do research on the Yellow King?
Sure. So you, the senior enchantress, you're going. Let's see. Who would we be asked about? Like an elder god. It's like, oh well. Let's see here. Well, there's Ibn al-Zur. He's an Eastern philosopher. You can find him in the divination school. So head out through the front of the college, take a right. It'll be the third building on the right.
Okay.
There's can't miss it. There's this giant all-seeing eye on the placard out front. Ibn al-Zur is an eccentric sort. Everybody will know who you're talking about. A swarthy gentleman with a long goatee and eccentric habits.
Okay, awesome. Does anybody want to go down with me?
I'm going.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
So I kind of have to.
Okay.
Krishana has to go too, right?
You
Sure.
were cursed, so I think it'd probably be a good idea.
Technically, all of you have seen the Spectre of Yellow
Okay.
King at this point. You're not all. You're kind of sure that it's like whatever applies to the Yellow King. Supposedly, seeing the Yellow King basically foretells your doom. So,
Okay, so
I
we
have
should
not
all go.
seen this. I've not seen this Yellow King, but I'm interested in finding more out about him.
all right.
If you haven't seen him yet, you're probably gonna see him just because you're hanging out with us. Just saying.
He seems to tail along with us a lot, huh?
Yes. All right. So
I don't think
you
Emma's-
head over to the College of Divination. There's various white robed individuals that are in sort of like deep meditative contemplation, as you can see them sitting Indian style on various cushions, like scattered around the front sitting room. A younger wizardess comes up to a lot of you. She looks. Your arrival has been foretold. I am to lead you to Ibn al-Sur.
Thank you.
We were expected. How nice.
She guides you back through the as you're sort of like trying to carefully step around people like that seem to be sitting in like random locations all over the floor. You eventually come to a back set of large double doors, which leads to a long hallway, and then the young wizardess leads you into a private sitting room, and seated at a large circular table with exactly enough chairs for one each for each of you is a man with a tremendously huge turban with a scintillating gem stuck in it, a pin in the front of it, and a large ostrich feather basically curling over the top of his turban. His white robes are carefully embroidered with silver arcane sigils, essentially, that have to do with divination and foretelling of the future. A large crystal ball sits on a red cushion in front of him, and you notice the first thing you notice about him, also, he's like continually mumbling something. So it's like death, Yellow King, visitors. It's like, and then he just continuous stream of consciousness, like word salad, is coming out of his mouth.
Oh.
How do we spell his name, please?
Ibn al-Sur. Let's see here. You've met off and on. Each of you have met some people from the East Indies, but they're a relative rarity during this period. So it's not like a whole bunch of Indian servants have started coming to the. I don't think it's till like the 1900s, essentially, that East Indians sort of like start showing up in the UK and in force. Let's put it that way. So, Salam, how may I help you?
Alaikum assalam.
Assalamualaikum.
We see.
Krishana, do you want to talk to him since you got cursed first? Or?
Yeah, I'll go over and tell him how I was speaking to a girl and I talked to the Yellow King. I'll keep her confidential, though. I won't tell who she is.
I see that each of you has been touched by an elder from the outer world. Now,
Well, you put it like that.
and that your doom is foretold. Do you seek to escape the bonds of fate?
Yes, please.
You know, I'm down for that.
If the bonds of fate have to, go ahead.
But your fate may be that your fate may mean that you die a peaceful death a long, long time from now. Are you sure you wish to escape it?
What about the Yellow King expresses a gentle death? That's what I'm curious about.
Your soul will not suffer eternally in its grip, but it's like you might lead a long and fruitful life and never face essentially great horrors. Those who twist their fates tend to suffer greatly.
We do a lot of that.
Just like rolling her eyes because nobody knows that she's already lived a long life. So she's like, this is annoying. Can we get on with this?
So when you say that we were touched by an elder from the outer world, is that the Yellow King?
He's going, it may be, or it may be someone that masquerades basically as that powerful being.
Oh.
Well, how do we discern that?
Well, who among you essentially is willing to be tested?
I will. And I'll pull the blade out and show him that it has a yellow hue on it.
Are you pulling out the blade return or not? Because that's like, I don't think that's cursed by the Yellow King per se. It's like,
well, so my regular blade that I had, I thrust into the ground in front of the stones, and it kind of made like a
I remember
two.
when you said your vows, your new oath. Essentially, you claimed it in front of the throne, which is claimed by the Yellow King at this point. So now I remember why it's tainted, why your blade is tainted. Okay, so it's like he takes he carefully takes the blade in both hands, like ponders over it as his eyes sort of get this intense look of concentration. It's like he hands the blade back to you at this point. You have sworn a fate to seek out the enemies of Tir Nanog of your own volition. This is not something you can easily escape at this point. It's like, because you have entered into this contract voluntarily.
Okay.
And nor do I sense that you would want to basically escape.
Yeah, that's true.
So which of you basically actually wish to escape the bonds of fate?
I do. My soul is already promised to someone else.
I see. Come, look into the crystal. As you take a seat at the table and look into the crystal ball, it's like the Ibn al-Sur's eyes again gets that in sort of like intense look upon it. It's like then he looks deeply into Krishana as he's just like staring into her soul, and then like, you have seen an actual elder being, essentially. The Yellow King calls you to Dim Carcosa, his realm within the Nether. I have here. Take this with you. It's like he stands up, goes up to a bookshelf with like several scrolls and books arranged in sort of like haphazard heaps upon them. So none of the books are basically like vertical along their spine. They're sort of like in stacks. He lifts up a book and basically pulls out a long sheaf of a scroll that seems to be made of a yellowing paper, and he hands it to Krishana at this point. It's like, this poem was written about Lost Carcosa. Perhaps it will give you some guidance on how to get to the Yellow King's realm. For only the Yellow King can release you from his service.
So we gotta go to his house and ask and plead for him to release us?
That is the way with the Yellow King, yes. The
You know
rest
what
of
type
you,
of gift he might
I
like?
sense you have seen an image, essentially. A latent image of someone that perhaps parades himself about as the Yellow King, but is not. You do not have the strings of fate, basically. You do not have the shackles of fate tied about you like these two. And she points to the two people that have actually seen images of Yellow King.
So which two have actually seen the images?
So it's Krishana, and who was the other person that actually saw a vision of the Yellow King?
Owl.
I think I did.
Was that Al?
Didn't I see him?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was Al and Krishana.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
two, basically, as the druidess, basically from the cairn in town, has said essentially, she was a little bit more colorful about it, saying that you're both fucked, but but the rest of you have seen something else, essentially, someone that parades around in the visage of the Yellow King, but it's not the Yellow King.
Oh.
There's a faker on the throne.
Yes,
That was included me in this as well.
that's correct.
Peer upon my soul and tell me.
So the image you saw basically was like, that is not the Yellow King, though I'm sure he is a great devotee. Perhaps someone who follows the Yellow King's dictates.
I have no recollection of this. When was it?
When you were, I don't think you were actually part of the adventure for Tir Nanog, so
Yeah, the Feywild was after Tir Nanog, and I think we ran into Burnheart.
So you, Bernhardt, you are not basically.
Okay,
You have not
alright.
seen an image of the Yellow King.
Sorry, I thought you were like alluding to something. I was like,
No, I'm
shit.
just alluding to the rest of the team has seen someone parading around as the Yellow King. So
Okay, alright.
That's really
Okay.
interesting. Would there be any way to find out who that actually was?
one of you would need to sacrifice for the vision, essentially, to make that happen. I am not yet. While I am wise in the ways of the old ones, I am not willing to risk my immortal soul on this. One of you must basically take that risk in my stead.
As I have not been bound to this
abomination or aberration, perhaps my soul might be best suited for it.
There's risk. You are not even involved, essentially, in this. Are you sure?
If
Do you accept the terms and conditions?
if I'm to be traveling with them, it is only a matter of time before I am bonded with this fate.
Creature.
Well, I sense your your noble Fey patron essentially has put you on this path, so perhaps your fate is to be bonded to them. So, my dear Greenskin, sit down and look into the crystal deeply. I will need also a drop of your blood. Whether or not you wish me to draw it or you yourself essentially wish to bleed, simply put a drop of your blood in this dish as he pulls out a dish from underneath the table.
All right. I draw a little bit of my blood.
Can you
Oh, this is
squeeze,
scary.
you squeeze
This is
a
some
couple
scary
drops
shit.
of blood into the dish? There's a loud crystal ring as your drops of blood plop onto the dish. Some magic resonates within the dish. The Ibn Nasr drops a few drops of the blood onto the crystal clear, the large crystal ball in the center of the table, and the crystal ball, and it simply seems to drop into the ball as if it were made of water, and then your blood sort of like makes little red blood clouds in the as Ibn Nasr chants some deep Latin chants over the crystal orb, and suddenly the whole room becomes dark, as if an ominous atmosphere basically takes over this place. It's like, now behold, the land of the Nether, where the elder gods live. I will. What is it that you seek? Name it.
We look for the imposter.
Oh, who is the imposter? What is the identity of the imposter?
So you immediately get a vision of the ruins of the Golden Keep in Tir na Nog. As your vision zooms in, at breakneck speeds through past the curse stones, through the broken gates, up to the broken throne, where the broken throne of the queen and king lie in. So the two broken thrones basically lie in pieces across the basically upper pedestal that all of you have seen before. A image of a ghostly yellow robed individual appears there, face shrouded in darkness. It's like, and then that image essentially burns away as golden white magic sort of consumes that image and reveals the image of a gaunt and haunted man, essentially. All of you, well, let's see, Zumlar at least recognizes this individual basically as the old court seneschal, the court wizard. A wise and an illustrious and wise Fey, if he ever knew one. The Zumba only ever remembers him as this sort of like kind, doddering old man that was often fond of giving candy to children in the court. But his eyes seem haunted, and he's wearing sort of like tattered yellow robes and carries a staff that looks like made of twisted wood, with what appears to be several skulls sort of like hanging from vines from the top of it, of various different sizes. So like some of them are like full adult size, and some of them are like small, like the skulls of monkeys or children. Uh, his eyes, his eyes turn to basically the focus of the scrying the magic orb. As you look at him, he looks back at all of you. It's like, and there's this sort of, he makes this sort of like abrupt crushing motion with his sort of like old clawed hand. he is definitely an elf, but an elf of like advanced age. His skin is like shriveled and liver spotted. His teeth are his teeth basically see his gums on his teeth, though his teeth are all still there. See his gums are all shrunken back, giving him sort of this rictus grin. And he holds a book with a. The things you noticed about him are besides his staff, he holds this book that is bound in yellow leather with the Eye of Hastor across the front of it.
I'll
Good.
exclaim that I'll say, you get to live, just like out like just blurt it out,
It's like
not even knowing if he can hear me or not.
You can't hear anything he's saying, but you make out these words in Elvish mumbled out of his mouth. It's like, seek the enemies of Tir na Nog, bring them to heel, seek their destruction. As his eyes flare with arcane might, basically in the vision shatters as if from a shattering of a pane of glass, essentially, and all of you feel this violent gust of wind, and suddenly you're back in the room you are. The ominous, dark feeling around the room is gone.
So he says, seek the enemies of Turnagog?
He says, seek the enemies of Tir na Nog, bring them to heel, destroy them. At least that's what you think he said. That's
Jeez. Well, vision.
That's pretty much
Sounds
what
like
he
a
said
broken
when we
record at
were.
this point.
Yeah, that's what he told us when we were there. But at least that way we know it's not actually the King in Yellow. So, if we can help Krishana and Owl.
this wizard, this old elven wizard, this ancient elven wizard holds a dangerous tome. The Book of Hastor holds many of the secrets written by the Yellow King himself, written on the flesh of men and women that have perished. This is his connection. This is his connection to the Yellow King.
So not exactly an imposter, more or less a conduit.
Like a prior, if you will.
In a way, yes. Not entirely an inaccurate description.
I've been watching Stargate SG-1.
It's good.
To the point where they're fighting the Ori. But Zumlar is kind of taken aback because he saw the old mage.
Now just looks over. Just, you okay, bud? What's up?
I thought he fell within the first wave. Kind of like he's still a little shook.
Oh.
Does he look like him?
Zermantha supposedly, at least according to Zumlar, had an extensive laboratory underneath the Golden Keep. You guys never ended up exploring down there, so but Zumlar notes essentially he has an extensive lab down there. Perhaps he still lives there.
Assuming he is even alive, and this isn't sort of like an after image of him.
Yeah, this
or projection.
May not actually be him.
Ibn al-Sur says, like, I was able to cast some amount of divination through the crystal. It's like the being on the other side is undead. He's a parody of life.
Mm-hmm.
So the Yellow King is using him, and I'll tighten my grip on my blade.
Does he have a phylactery?
It is a good question, essentially. Many powerful undead, he may be a lich, he may be something else. He may basically simply be a revenant that continues to serve, continues to seek vengeance. I was not able to determine the type of undead he is. The time we had to look at him the time I had to look at him was slightly too short. But as As it has been foretold in my visions, essentially, you will now pay me for my services. 2,000 gold, please.
Lovely.
So I'm going to ask him one more question. Do we know where the is it the captain or the commander that I was supposed to go after for the belt?
The
Well, you
Lord.
know who that is, basically, is Neville Nesmith, a colonel in the British Army.
Yeah, even I remember him. He was a dickhead.
Do we know where he
Neville
usually?
Nesmith, like, so Mack having been in the conquering army at the time, Neville Nesmith is like infamous essentially for burning down villages.
Yeah, like he was like
He's
he was
basically
just-
put everybody to the sword during the campaign in Tir na Nog. So
kill or be killed. That
well,
was
it's not even
like
that.
his.
Basically, there's to the British Empire is not a big deal, but basically to anybody from Tir na Nog, he's a war criminal.
So, and I think that we recognized him because he's a lord now. Is that right?
Yes, he is. He was decorated as a lord when he returned back, and now is part of the nobility.
Yes.
Oh,
We should
Yeah,
be
but
able. Go ahead.
he was not a good person. Mack's few interactions with him were never pleasant. He was a very cruel individual, even to his own soldiers.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we were thinking we wouldn't need to run him down by magical means. We could probably track him down by bureaucratic means, and probably need to, do some recon on him.
Well, it's like you've actually seen his name come up in the papers every so often. He is one of the more strident voices for exiling the refugees from South Ward outside of London. So he's basically just like the refugees have overstayed their welcome of the good graces of the fair people of London. Essentially, they must see to their own needs at this point. We of London and Great Britain can no longer give refuge to our former enemies. Blah blah blah. That's it.
Oh, well, he can get
So
fucked.
he's part of the pro-human faction that is always petitioning Parliament essentially to get rid of the refugees.
Nigel Farage.
Exactly.
Now while we're here, with the library and all of this going on, Dirk still has those 3 tomes that he shoved into his bag of holding from the library at the mansion. Would this be a good place to check
Sure.
those out?
The Ibn simply flips through one. This tome essentially describes the creation of golems. Essentially, it will be consumed once you follow its instructions. Essentially, for the creation of golems, you would need
Man, how
rare
convenient.
materials. The most expensive of which is usually a golem core, a gem of great worth.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll pull one out of the other bag of holding.
Well, looks like you
Mean
already
this?
have.
Okay.
It has been foretold.
I don't think that you. Okay, fine, but I don't know that you. That wasn't the one that you had, Zumlar.
You sure?
Yeah, you had one that had writing on it with celestial on one side. You didn't have the one from the golem.
Okay, yeah, so I'll show him that gem then.
Okay.
Okay, so you all right, you show him this gem with celestial scribbled on it. So does anybody in your group actually read and write celestial?
I can read it if I touch it for ritual casting.
Okay.
If anything, I assume Owl might, due to
I'm-
her.
That is what I am checking.
I think Lady Emma is celestial, but whether or not she actually still reads the language or not is a good question. It's like just depends on her background.
She does.
Where would I find that?
Oh yeah,
If you're looking at D&D Beyond, bottom left of your
both of you
screen.
are former celestials, aren't you? So
I speak Deep Speech, Druidic, Infernal, and Sylvan.
okay, so both of you essentially
Proficiencies in languages. Yeah, I do speak Celestial.
All right, so
Da-da.
the two of you read essentially that it's written. It's basically several like the 100 names of God. So the Christian God.
I was just like, oh, so many names for the same thing.
Yes.
It's just God.
And then there was so I had written down that it was a ruby red gem, and it was inscribed with angelic on one side and another entity on the back.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So it has the 100 names of it basically has the 100 names of Yahweh on one side basically, and the other side is the other side has a single rune, and it translates to banishment.
Well then.
Hmm.
That's not great.
Even so, if you want me to identify it, you can pay me another 100 gold, and I will basically legend lore this item for you. If that's the greater version of identify. Otherwise,
I think that would
Bless you.
sounds like money well spent, guys. What do you think?
Yeah.
What is the item?
Something problems. So if we have no money, that means we don't have any problems, right?
All right.
Yeah,
So, all right. So your new tab is 2100. The also takes the gem, incants some arcane cants. Basically, inscribes a circle in salt on the table, and places the gem in it. Places his thumb, index finger and thumb to his jaw, and basically ponders your gem deeply with glowing blue eyes, and then name the if you call upon the 100 names of the Christian God, and then state in Celestial, the word on the back of the gem, essentially whoever you shall name, essentially at the end of this incantation, shall be imprisoned by 100 angels.
Ah,
Well
that
then.
sounds very useful for Benedict.
Or what kind of
Trying to
imprisonment?
figure out. Some of you in the back of your head are trying to figure out how quickly can I basically spout that out.
Yeah.
And could you say?
Someone is gonna have to. I'm gonna have to practice that.
And could you say most of it and then wait a little bit and then say the rest of it? Yeah, there's parameters here, but still something to hang on to.
Supposedly, this gem was well, according to legend lore, at least, essentially this gem was created by the King Solomon, who understood the names of 1,000 devils and demons, and could use their names basically to cast them back to their planes of existence. This is a incarnation of Solomon's power and knowledge.
Good. So yeah, we've got Yellow Kings and Crazy Undead and Elder Escape from Hells and Elder Vampires and all kinds of people that might need to get banished. That sounds awesome.
Okay, so who has the snow globe with what looks like a study in it?
That was me.
All right, so do you want him to identify it as well, or are you just gonna identify that on your own?
We'll have him identify it since we're here.
Okay, another 100 gold.
Okay.
All right.
He's not cheap. It's like you're talking to the head of the guild at this point, pretty much.
No, this is money well spent, I think.
Okay, all right. He ponders it, just there's an eldritch spirit. There is not much to tell about the story of this. This is an eldritch spirit of knowledge is contained within this somewhat interesting item. You may converse with it by using the following incantation, as he gives you an incantation in the arcane speech of dragons, i.e. the language of magic, and you may converse essentially with this eldritch spirit. Like I said, he quickly activates it quickly and has some sort of mental conversation with the denizen there, and it's Yeah, this the individual contained in here has some reasonable amount of magic power. It's like perhaps enough to cast maybe 5 levels worth of spells, like of the wizardly variety. Mainly having to do with let's see here. He claims that he's a conjurer. So you can call out like 5 levels worth of conjuration spells out of the orb, quote unquote, being cast by the spirit within.
Dang, that's
Sweet. Now, can we take a look at those other 2 books that Dirk had?
The other 2 books. So roll me 2d20.
Okay.
Well, actually, let's just use a random book generator here. 1 second. Let me pull that up really quick.
Okay. Because we know how I roll.
Eh.
I think your random is going to be better than my roll. The last time I rolled on a book, you gave me -1 from all of my rolls after that until I got the curse lifted.
When was this?
That was when we were in the library down at the Necromancer's College, and I found that book that was bound in skin. And so, yeah, he says -1 on all your rolls after that, and James is like, that seems unnecessary.
Yeah.
Speaking of James, have you heard anything from him, Lawrence?
I have not. So
Okay, I'm hoping everything's okay.
Last I checked, he was just on hiatus, which I can understand.
Well, have you talked to him since he left?
No, not really.
Well, it's been a while, so I was just wondering.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
This is taking a long while to load. So yeah, 1 more minute. Hopefully it'll load up. So
That's fine. So now, Krishana, you had a bright blue gem that you got out of the crematorium. It's worth 500 gold and is the size of a pigeon egg. Did you want to ask about if that one had anything?
Well, that was just a regular gem, so it's just.
Oh, okay.
I use that to buy the rituals that I just got.
I thought that was a ruby that you traded.
Same difference. It is the gem he pulled out of.
Okay, fair enough.
Ah!
Whoa!
You just hear from down the hall, or I guess like a few buildings over now.
Must be painful if it's a few buildings over.
You think he'd use like his tail like comfort or something, you know, like to hold on to it or something? Oh wait, he probably can't hold things because it's on his arms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like insane asylum strapped into this like chair. I'm just like
Can't even hug a stuffed animal for comfort.
Roll me a D100 twice.
Oh, okay.
And he's gonna be
we'll do it the
bald
manual
now.
way.
And Max is gonna be bald.
Not bald, just on my arms.
So that's a 12.
Bald.
Gonna have friggin' anchor arms.
So that's a 12 and a 20.
All right. Let's see here. Friar Albert's hidden paths. You may. Let's see. This secret knowledge allows you to basically find the best way through difficult terrain. Essentially, once. Essentially, so effectively, it's get unlost for free. Essentially, once.
Excellent.
Get out of the forest free card.
That sounds very useful.
So any sort of mazes you can instantly solve. Anytime you need the safest path, you can just simply call upon this blessing.
Useful.
Let's see here. Let's see, number 20, the Lusty Argonian Maid. This classic ephemeral tale tells the tale of a lusty lizard folk maid. You may summon said maid, essentially, from this book to serve you for an hour per day.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh.
I mean, he's a little. Oh
That Owl, if you
Oh,
didn't know, that's a
yes.
Skyrim reference.
no! I did. Nope.
Really? You didn't know that?
No, I
To be
wasn't
fair,
allowed-
Owl's one of the most. No offense, Owl. You're one of the most sheltered people I've ever met.
Hey,
You know, not all of us have played Skyrim.
No,
So
I know.
so when we say it's a maid, does that mean that she is a young lizard folk person or that she cleans?
Yes,
Yes.
Both.
Okay.
all of the above.
Awesome.
How many volumes of that book were there? I remember reading
I
all
want to
of
say
them.
at least 5 or 6.
Oh my gosh, it
Not
got
that
so
I
out
would
of
know.
hand. I literally went through and read every single book in Skyrim. It was awful. There's so many bad books.
yeah,
All filler.
yeah. I'd be amazed if they were good.
Well, some of them are like surprisingly good, but like some of them are like really dry histories, and like you can tell like the middle pages are like, wow, this person was like,
Filler.
yeah.
Do we want to ask him about that book for Tirnanog, the history of Tirnanog that has the key to it? That was how we were transported to Tirnanog before. Do we want to
Okay,
ask
so are
him?
you again gonna spend another
Do you
100
want to
gold
keep
on
paying
his
100 gold?
Yes, if we can find out what the stuff actually is and how we can use it. Yeah.
All right, so he takes he doesn't cast anything. He simply looks through the book, looks at the key. It's like, you have one of the you have this is incredibly rare object. This is one of the keys to Tir Nanog. This fairy key allows you to turn any doorway into a portal to Tir Nanog.
And Zumlar will snatch up the book and the key from him. It's like, mine.
Hey, that's rude.
No, let me put it more correctly, succinctly. Essentially, this key allows you to turn any normal door into a portal once per day. Generally, to take you into the Feywild or to Tir Nanog. Those used to be very closely aligned to each other, but now in the modern times, Tir Nanog is obviously destroyed. So, perhaps you don't want to travel there, given that you have such a powerful being looking to call you to his service, per se. But here, the book describes, as he flips to the back of the book describes how to use the key to travel to various locations within Tir Nanog and the Fae by using various rituals upon the door before using the key. So it gives you 10 locations. 3 of them happen to be inside the Golden Keep. One of them happens to be Zaramanthus's lab. The other happens to be the garden, and the other happens to be the throne room. And then the other 7 locations, like one of them is the Great Cairn, which is like a Stonehenge type location within Tir Nanog, and then the other 6 or so locations are half of them are within the Winter Court, and half of them are within the Summer Court.
Is one of them the Huntsman's Lodge?
Yes, one of them is the Huntsman's Lodge. That is
There's the thread I was looking for.
And Zumlar will say, I'll keep this as a safekeeping.
Zumlar. Dirk has had it in his bag of holding and has kept it safe. Is there a reason why you need to have it?
It's a key to my home, I'll say.
And I've kept it safe. Is there a reason why you need to take it from me now?
Are you
I
just
brought
being
it with
greedy?
me and I asked what it was and I found out. Is there any reason you to take it from me now?
It's kind of.
Zumlar's kind of like thinking about it. He's like, he knows he kept it safe this time, but he really wants to keep it close to him.
That's when you gotta use your words, bud. Zoom.
But he kind of feels like it's.
Dirk's acted in good face, and you just snatched it from him and acted like he wasn't taking good care of it, and he's deeply, deeply offended.
Zoomy, you gotta talk about that sort of thing, you know? It's a poignant part to your feelings, but you gotta actually express that. And Owl's just like doing awkward gestures because she herself is not great at that, but she knows it's necessary.
Zumlar he's not great at that either. He's just he's kind of old and salty. He's kind of set in his ways.
So we gotta try it again.
Owl's trying to teach the old dog new tricks.
Exactly. Zoomy! Zoom!
I feel like if any else of us tried this, we would get smited half a dozen times over.
So quickly. Owl is totally hamming up her position right now.
Owl knows that Zumlar has a soft spot.
Yeah, she's just she's grinning because and looking at him she knows. It's come on, man. We gotta keep the party nice and together and not mad at each other. It's great when we don't do that.
He lets a low growl, fine, and he hands it back to Dirk.
Thank you. I promise to take good care of it. We have promised to support you and Tirnanog, but running off on your own and being reactionary and doing things without checking with us does not help the big game. We need to do this together like a team.
Like that one
there
time.
There is, in fact, an iron. Never mind.
There is an iron fireball? Is that what you're about to say?
No.
He was going to say an iron team.
There is an iron team. It's hidden inside the a-hole.
Nice.
Alright, what's our next plan of action here, team?
I'm stuck. I'm still strapped to a tattoo chair, screaming for my life.
There's a spider. Gross.
I can turn into a cat, and we can do a mini session of mafia kittens.
You guys do that while the big bad wolf is getting his tattoos.
Oh my
god! Krishana,
go
ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, please tell me the kittens are actively bothering Mack while he's trying to get tattoos.
There's probably one or two of them that are stuck.
I know Barf is definitely he's definitely messing with Mack.
Who?
Bartholomew?
You named a kitten Barf?
Bartholomew.
Barfy Mew Mew.
It's an awesome name.
Krishana got
it's a Spaceballs
Zumlar's cat is almost 25 pounds, the size of a small lynx. And
oh right,
it doesn't meow. It basically just makes bruh noises, bruh.
Meanwhile, Nibbling is this tiny little cat that looks all torn up and runty, but just follows Emma everywhere.
Exactly.
So, Krishana, when we were in Tirnanog, picked up a golden figure. She traded it for a bottle of wine that she had gotten at the Davenports. Would they know anything about that here?
The golden goblet I have?
I have a golden figure. So Dirk got some figures from the battlefield map, there's one there and in different places on the map, but then at the same time
allow you to transpose yourself from the battle map over to the location of that unit. So
right, but there was a golden figure that Krishana got. Dirk got those. Was the golden one of those too?
Yeah, so if you picked up a figure off the battle map, it's just it's kind of be random, essentially, which way you're going to get sent if you actually try to use this thing, but...
yeah, we didn't have them organized.
Well, Dirk got 3 of them, I think, but at the time, so we found out that if we could find where they were on the battle map, we could go there, and once we had 2 of them, then you can use them to transport back and forth, right? But we didn't have time because we were under attack there. So if it's one of those, then it's the same rules as Dirk's, and when we go back the next time, maybe we can find some of the other, the matching figures, right?
Well, I'm saying it's the battle map and those figures together essentially allow you to transport yourself to where that battle unit is on the map. Mm-hmm. So you've you've at some point or another identified the figures, and it says, okay, this is a key item to activate the teleportation function of the battle table. So that's effectively what it does. It allows you to transport to the location of that unit on the map. Given all the units of Tir Nanog are effectively of the Tir Nanog army are destroyed at this point, you're not quite sure what you're going to find over there. Probably not anything good.
Okay, so it really needs to work with the map. It wouldn't be a way for us to
Actually, it only
teleport
works with
after
the-
that.
the-
Okay,
the-
okay,
yeah,
fair
the
enough.
figures don't work by themselves.
Fair enough.
Okay, so all right, was there anything else you needed from his illustrious personage Ibn al-Sur, or are you all done at this point?
Krishana got some shimmering rocks in the Feywild. I wasn't sure if those were going to be significant in any way.
That's actually what's decreasing your life. Those are radioactive.
Other than being pretty rocks, that's all they are.
Okay. Fair enough.
Why did my brain go, oh great, more asbestos?
So I think
Yeah.
that is all of the stuff that I had on my list.
Excellent.
Well, you've all had been exposed to a ton of fairy dust. It's just like it looks like all of you have been sprayed down with glitter for a long time.
That ain't much better than asbestos.
Probably not.
People are still picking out glitter out of their hair and their clothing for the past month at this point.
I'm not gonna lie, Owl's digging the look.
Yes.
You know?
Oh god, I just realized I look like I'm in
that
fucking
being
Twilight.
said,
I
the
fucking
two Celestials
sparkle.
always look like they have a little bit of glitter in their makeup anyways. It's like they have that sort of celestial glow.
Fair enough.
Owl's
We
here
got
just
a-
like looking all
You got a
like
sparkly werewolf.
Yes.
and he's surrounded by cats right now. I can't get over that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All the
And my
cats
cat is just sitting on his
the
chest.
cats
And,
are basically looking on all surrounding Mack, are looking like they're taking great delight in seeing a canine suffer.
Ah!
and I can picture my cat just sitting on his chest, just swatting at his tail or his nose, bra.
All right, so what is it?
100% Bing Bong is
This is,
whiskers.
okay, we're just gonna effectively say you've gotten your rest of your tattoo. So you have this weird side effect afterwards, interaction between the two tattoos where you what is it? You have the abilities essentially of the what is it? Is it control fluids or control water cantrip that allows you to freeze things? So your hands are always continuously icy cold.
Oh, so just like real life. I have
Yes.
circulation.
Except you can actually chill drinks with your hands. And if
So,
you hold your hand in water for long enough, essentially it begins to freeze.
So I get to turn
Oh.
drinks, cups of water, into ice boxing gloves.
Yes.
Or you can make it
I
nice and
can
chilly.
freeze around my
It's
hand.
like the what is it? I can't remember the cantrip.
Greatest bartender of all time.
I think
So you can freeze up a 5x5 block in
control water. Yeah. And it sounds like
control water is the 4th level spell. I can't remember what the cantrip.
no, it's a
is.
cantrip.
Yeah.
No, I think you're thinking of no. Lawrence is right. Control water is the spell. I think it's shape water is the
It's
cantrip.
probably shape water. So
Okay, well, I was a druid, and I believe the 5 square feet, and you can clear it, right? So you can make wine look like water, water look like wine.
he only
Oh my
has
God,
the
he's
freeze,
Jesus.
He only has the freeze bit essentially. That's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any of the other abilities.
And
from
that's
the
going to be great if he shakes hands with people.
Yes. But if you need to cross water relatively slowly, you can freeze 5-foot blocks at a time and undo the last 5-foot block. All right. So that's a weird side effect that you have from your current tattoos. All right. Anything else we're gonna do at this point? And what is your next steps? Essentially, what are your next plans? So there's certainly lots of things to do. There's Neville Nesmith tracking down the devil colonel. There is.
Yeah, it's almost like we made a list.
There's.
I made a list.
There is going to what is it? There is heading to Golden Carcosia, the what is it? Kingdom of the Yellow King. You'd have to do some more research on how to figure out how to get there. Let's see.
I would like to go and we see the mother of the 2 twins we saved.
Okay.
Okay.
We can handle that quickly enough. You head over to the what is it? You head over to the household, the Draconis household. Marcus and Aurelius Draconis are with their mother, and they seem to be and Lady Christina is very happy to see you. Marcus and Aurelius are happy to see you. There's like, welcome to our household. It's like you will always be welcome in our home. I don't know what we can do to repay you for your for returning our sons to us, but I hope this small token is a down payment on basically perhaps future things that we get that our Draconis family can do for you. So the Draconis family is mainly famous for making their fortune via trade. So if you need any exotic goods or perhaps something shipped or transacted in a large amount of money, essentially the Draconis family can probably help you. So if you need to sell something in the worth thousands of gold, the Draconis family can probably help you out there, because that's not normally something you're going to be able to do with street merchants.
So pretty much like a fence.
Well, more like basically actual valid commercial trade. Let's put it that way. So
we were thinking that we might want to try and get in touch with the 2 royals who are in hiding, and since they're royalty from Tirnanog, since they're nobles from Tirnanog, is it possible they might be able to help us track them down? They're the
Or
only
even just put in like a good word.
I know where they are, because I was one who brought them out of Terranova.
Oh, you think they're still there?
Well, I'm saying you know that they are. You've heard that they are basically have settled into somewhere within the South Ward at this point. They're well hidden, and no one knows their exact location except for a select few. You didn't happen to be privy to the exact location. You simply helped get them out of the castle.
Yeah, and my thought was that, like, Zumlar, with your, like, obviously you know them, and if I just, like, walk up to them, I'm basically just, like, some mutt that, like, oh, you attacked our keep, boo-hoo, you got hurt. Like, if I got, like, a recommendation from the Draconis family, it'd be, like, more, I guess, staying power, saying, like, hey, I'm not just some mutt that attacked the keep.
Lady Christina notes, essentially, that the Tirnanog nobles in exile. I've met the prince and princess once. That was in let's see here. That was in the county of Primrose. Some like decade or so past. I don't know if they're still there. They seem to be in the care of, or in the company of this mad Greek wizard. I can't quite remember his name.
Oh, something the Black?
Gregor the Black? Is that
it?
You gotta be shitting me.
He was on the list.
How convenient.
That's very helpful, Lady Christina. Thank you so much. We're glad to know the boys are back home and safe.
Well, I certainly appreciate your good efforts on behalf of our house. All right.
Can we ask them if
please take this small amount of money as a gesture of our goodwill, as she writes you a check for 3,000 gold.
Whoa!
Oh, nice.
What did we do to get that?
We rescued her sons.
Oh, wow.
That were basically being like, they were enthralled and like being kept as the Davenports, like oh, these are my children. No, they're not your children. You just brainwashed them.
They were using their blood in spells. That's why they wanted to.
Oh, right.
Right now, and I think we determined at the time that they didn't remember anything other than like being kidnapped, and then their memory was so they wouldn't be able to tell us anything about the Davenports because they don't remember any of that, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Oh, while everyone's talking, can Owl just be like playing games with the kids, like not really paying attention, just for flavor?
Lady Emma still doesn't quite trust everyone in this family because she's worried she's going to get recognized. So she's like still awkwardly in the back, just like trying to avoid making eye contact. Lady Emma.
So, of course, as you're doing basically this lady, Krishana basically says, Lady Emma, you seem very familiar. It's like, do I know you from someplace?
Surely not.
She starts prodding you for what is your lineage, Lady Emma, since you are obviously purport to be a lady.
Emma sort of like goes back and forth and makes up some babbling story of how she has gone around between families and is a prominent member of the royal family.
Okay, so I need you to actually roll persuasion or deception at this point.
I can do.
So you are in fact a royal, but you don't. Are you in fact a royal?
It's complicated. It's really complicated.
She hasn't discussed this with the rest of the party.
No, not yet. Also, it's been a while since I've played story a little bit. Persuasion.
I'll go over to Mac and poke at his new tattoo. Hey.
Ah! And I just slap him. That fucking hurts! Don't do that! I'm just walking around.
Mack,
like
language in front of the kids!
My arms.
Language! Language!
Lady Emma got an 11, which sucks because she has a +8 persuasion. She rolled a 3.
Oh.
So you all right, you pick up an inspiration from this, even though it goes badly for you. She's Lady Krishana whispers in your ear. It's like, how exactly does basically a member of the royal family end up in an adventuring group?
She's gonna whisper back to her, by hiding from the Fae for 407 years.
Well, you may want to. She basically points to. She sort of points to this sort of like weird golden swirl that's on your neck that you've always had since. For the longest time, it's like perhaps you may want to cover that up with makeup in the future. It's like that marks you as a royal.
That'd be a smart plan, wouldn't it?
She smiles and sits back down. It's like.
So what are the rest of us doing?
Apparently, nothing to worry about. Just like, I appreciate your frankness, Lady Emma. So.
Would Krishana recognize what type of family Emma is talking about?
Do you actually have a noble background?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, you can roll a history check to basically see if you actually recognize some noble characteristics of Lady Emma.
Yeah, she has a locket around with a like symbol.
That is a total of 6.
Oh,
Okay, you have no idea.
I hate when that happens.
All right.
So Mack is just walking around like he's got really bad sunburn on his arms. He's just like,
It just
I appreciate it's like you're more than unfortunately, I must take the boys off to their lessons for today and see to their needs. But it's like you're more than welcome to be our guest here for the rest of the afternoon if you wish.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
You'll have to excuse me if I am not able to see you out.
Okay. Dirk is going to use telepathy to say, guys, we still need to get organized before Benedict comes for us tonight. So I don't think we should hang here for the whole afternoon. I think we still got things to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you make a good point.
So
Like
Zumlar's
usual.
going to hand Mack a like cooling bomb for his arms.
All right then.
Oh,
Right. Well, you stop by an apothecary, and so what is it? Mack or Zumlar, whoever wants to pay for this. You
I'll
pay
pay
for
for
some anesthetic cream essentially for 25 gold, and so Mack can put it on his arms.
And then I
Please
think...
Go ahead. I was gonna say, please. Tree, go. I'm good. This is flavor.
While we're out in the apothecary, Lady Emma had picked up an apprentice.
Oh, that's right.
When we were in the inn, and I think now that we thought it was too dangerous for the apprentice to go to the mansion, but I think she was wanting to find them too. And so while we're out at the apothecary, I think it was not far from that inn.
So, all right. So the numbing cream actually has game statistic abilities, so it gives you 5 temporary hit points. So
cool.
Can someone please just like, as they're like putting on, just I like your cut, G, and smacks it onto his arm.
Ah!
So
Maybe
Zumlar,
that's very disturbing. That's very disturbing.
So Zumlar being affected by owl will do exactly that.
And Owl just like snickers or just like cackles in the background.
It stings and then it doesn't sting anymore.
Gotta get one
It's like-
last in. I'm sorry, I just had to add that. I just had to ask.
It's good flavor. Out of character, I don't mind it.
It smells like Bengay.
So I was like, what?
Bengay.
What?
What is this? What is this strange potion you mentioned?
Bengay.
So
Bengay is something
I know
that
it
we
is.
have in America, like that you rub on sore muscles. It's an old
Oh.
person. It'd be an old person thing.
It's aspartame. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. All right, was there anything else you guys wanted to do during the day? So
Lady
it's
Emma's
roughly this is
apprentice,
over the
right?
course of like 2 or 3 days. You're doing various things, but it's like
Well, I think we wanted to find Lady Emma's apprentice, and we were talking about maybe trying to stake a claim on some of the Davenport assets.
Yeah.
They don't need
So
him
once
anymore.
Exactly.
Benedict's still
Once
running
they're
around, but
Not for long. Know what
it's
I'm
like
done with
you
them.
quickly find as you try to claim some of the Davenport assets. Apparently, the Davenports have great lawyers. As regards,
Oh, don't worry, we
you
killed them
quickly
too.
basically get locked up in probate court, and it's like you spend 100 gold on this.
okay.
I'm just imagining everyone in a suit going to court, and the judge is like, "Get out of my room."
Well,
Get
let's
out
try
of
that
here,
after
you
we get rid of
bugbears
Benedict. So Benedict can obviously hunt us at night, but during the day, maybe we should see if there's any sightings of him at the townhouse or the warehouse, or well, we burned down the
so
warehouse, right?
What about
All
the
right,
roadhouse?
Do you personally stake these places out, or you just sort of like send like street urchins to do it?
I vote we send street urchins. What do you guys think?
I agree.
We could send the
Okay.
cats.
Spend spend 150 gold in hiring various street urchins to canvass the streets for you. Okay, roll 3d20, and we're just looking for hires better.
Okay, you guys don't want me to roll.
I'll do
I'll
it.
roll.
No, I was about to say make other Ryan do it because no, you pull some bullshit out of your ass sometimes.
So
The
nat
fucking
20 and
9 lives
218.
stealer and the Vorpal sword and the Snicker snack.
So I got a nat 20 and two 18s.
922 18s. Okay, so the urchins return with good news.
See, like that.
The what is it? The Davenport Import Export Holdings. There's someone has spotted Benedict Davenport this very evening, essentially there, and then the stables and the what is it? The North Wark sort of like whole neighborhood that has been controlled by the Davenports at this point. They don't see Benedict over there, but everybody seems to be going about their normal business. So the warehouse seems to be abandoned at this point. There's no goods inside the building, as if everything had been moved out, because what was contained in there earlier was a whole bunch of basically undead in cold storage. So it's like, so all of that has been moved out. So there's nothing in there currently right now.
I think
Speaking
we
of
burned
undead,
it too.
do I smell any undead on the wind? Like, if Davenport is moving an army into London to try and hunt us down, I feel like I would probably catch wind of it. Literally catch wind.
Well,
Oh, sorry if
essentially
that was
all
me.
of like London's like covered by the vapors and it smells bad.
Oh, true. True, it already
So,
smells
the
like
smell
undead,
doesn't
so.
do you a lot of good inside London. It's like unless you're indoors. And that being said, essentially you already know essentially they travel underground using the lamplighter tunnels.
Oh, right.
So they don't even travel above ground for the most part.
They literally come out of the metaphorical
there's
woodwork.
There's probably another cultist lair inside of London, or maybe 2 or 3 of them somewhere. The thing you do here out on the streets, however, as you're sort of reading the latest tear sheets and the is that people like several people, like a dozen people, have gone missing recently within the South.
Oh, for fuck's sake, not this again.
But their bodies have been found, like as if all the blood has been drained out of their bodies.
Oh, good.
And let's see here, and then maybe about a dozen more people, their bodies have been found torn apart. Some sort of like tremendously giant jawed beast had like ripped, like fed upon them and like torn them to shreds.
Like
I know what
Mack?
you guys are thinking. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Sure.
I don't believe you.
So this is one of those points where you may want to talk to the police constable again, essentially, and find out what's happening with these individuals. Because whatever horrible thing got summoned during that ritual is probably getting more powerful and continuing to feed.
And see if the battle mistress could get like a company of paladins.
Victoria notes essentially. We've had a full detachment of troops stationed at the former cult lair this whole time, so they have not come back. So we have not. We've been working with the constables at this constable's office at this point. The head constable at this point of Scotland, the head detective of Scotland Yard, has been stymied. At this point, there's some information you may want to ask Scotland Yard. I'll write you a letter of recommendation, but you may want to ask the head detective in charge at this point what evidence he has found. My understanding is they have been very slim. Whatever creature it is doesn't leave any tracks. As far either from the bloodless individuals or the torn apart individuals, you'd think there'd be blood everywhere, but it's as if they had simply faded into the ground or phased through walls or something equally ridiculous, or maybe they fly, but whatever it is essentially is not leaving any tracks on the ground, just their victims. So.
That's never good.
Well, maybe we should go and talk to the police. And the last time they gave us money when we helped them, so that's not a bad thing.
Money.
That's true, yeah.
Okay, so you certainly have enough money basically to pull together to buy your own clubhouse at this point, or basically your own adventuring house, uh, like or guild
I
hall.
say we kill Benedict and take
Because
over the mansion.
the problematic part you're facing at this point is like if you go to your private apartments, you will suddenly become easy targets for Benedict's forces at that point.
Yeah, we need to stay together, particularly after dark.
We're wondering about claiming Benedict's home
Yeah, I'm saying that
legally.
is all tied up in like barristers pretty much stop you. His lawyers stop you from doing
Yeah,
that.
we
pretty much.
haven't killed him yet, so it's
Well, yeah,
we spent
but we wanted.
$150
And
to
this is the problem. He is still considered a noble, even though he is suspected of being a fiend, like a horrible monster. Essentially, he still has a lot of clout as a and legal standing, basically as a noble within London. So
I feel like out of spite, we are written explicitly to receive nothing in his will. I feel just
Oh man,
probably.
he just had a meeting real quick. Like, I gotta get this shit out of the way.
Were we able to find Lady Emma's apprentice?
yes, you're able to find Lady Emma's apprentice just fine. She's like, Mistress, it's like you have been gone for the better part of 3 weeks. Like I thought I feared I would not see you again.
Well, we've been busy, but we did come back.
What should I study next? I have completely memorized the works of Nauticus, the 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 wizard who developed the your favorite spell, Fireball. But it's like what else should I study next, Lady Emma?
that's all you need.
Well,
Just fireball.
Fireballs.
Mac, let the spellcasters talk, buddy.
we recommend you dedicate yourself not just to Fireball, but to all the fire-related tactics.
Yeah, your sage advice has really helped me direct and develop myself, Lady Emma. I certainly appreciate your sage counsel. It's like, and you're so much less strict than the professors at St. Mary's. I'm sorry, St. George's.
You know me, fun as always.
All right. I would love to demonstrate some of my skills. I think there's some practice targets out back. Could I perhaps show you some of what I learned, and you can critique me?
Of course.
All right, Lady Emma, do you actually have counterspell?
Do I have counterspell? Good question.
Yes. Do you have dispel magic or counterspell?
I don't know if I have a counterspell.
Dirk has
Okay,
dispel
it's
magic.
it's a third level magic. So
Dirk has dispel magic.
all right, so Lady
Counterspell
Emma
is
and her
very good.
apprentice head out to the back. There's some impromptu targets that Selena, your apprentice, has set up here that look like scarecrows made of buckets, mops, and brooms that have sort of been loosely tied together in a scarecrow. It's like I've carefully measured the distance, Lady Emma. I believe the edges of the building should be far enough away to where my fireball should just singe the edges of them and not cause any further damage. It's like Lady Emma doesn't see anything wrong with this, but she herself doesn't normally see that as a problem. All right, so Selena starts casting a spell and starts summoning up this planetoid of fire. Unfortunately, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger as Selena starts sweating and she starts panting really hard as the fireball doesn't seem to be like stop at any sort of like reasonable size. It just keeps on growing in width.
And you see Zumlar, like his eyes just get wider, and he gets this like trance, kind of like he likes it.
So
He
Dirk
loves the fire.
if Dirk casts
Lady Emma is basically sort of like somewhat appreciative that her young apprentice can summon up such a large amount of fire, but everybody else seems apprehensive.
Dirk wants to throw dispel magic at it and see if that helps at all.
Lady Emma, do you have anything to say about this, or do you trust your apprentice to basically practice her craft?
Lady Emma goes, darling, I appreciate all that you're doing, but don't you think perhaps you should... but how much control do you have over this fireball?
You notice that Selena is like gritting her teeth and like and breathing really hard at this point, as she has barely any control over this spell.
Alright, so Lady Emma's gonna let Dirk.
Well, you can just roll an Arcana roll to basically grab your student and have her unweave the spell if you want to do that. So, or do you try to help her basically release the spell basically and hit the target? So, what are you trying to do? Are you going to stop her, or are you going to try to help her along?
I'll try to help her along.
Okay, so I need an Arcana roll.
I got a 14.
All right. So you're not proficient. You're not proficient in Arcana.
Apparently not.
Okay, just checking. All right.
Can Dirk give her assistance with that? Can he give her help?
In this case, I don't think Lady Emma is going to accept help with her own students.
Fair enough.
All right, so you help her at least basically complete the spell and release it down the alleyway towards the courtyard. The two scarecrows disappear in this tremendous flash of heat and light as there's just like this mushroom cloud of fire like shoots 40 feet straight up into the air from the explosion point, and Lady Emma herself is going, wow, that's really impressive. About the time basically there's like you're noticing all the buildings all around are all on fire.
Are any of us there?
It's like you can hear being yelled out from behind the islands, fire, fire, there's a fire. Lady Emma, do you have the cantrip control flames?
I do.
All right. Do you start just bringing everything back under control at this point and putting out all the flyers? And what do you say to your student at this point? Do you congratulate her, or do you basically admonish her?
I'm gonna say that she still has a little bit of work to do.
Okay. All right. So you grab your apprentice. All right, help me put out all the flames. So, one of the first things you taught her was control flames. As you both basically douse all the flames all the way around the alleyway. You casually poke one of the scarecrows, which is completely carbonized and basically falls immediately into a pile of ash as you touch it. It's like, wow, that's really impressive for a young mage, essentially. I don't know if I was quite that impressive when I was that young.
Right.
But
Cue the jealousy.
But you're going, that's like, yeah. But at this point, Emma is proud that she has a very promising student on her hands.
That was amazing. Let's just be careful where we use that, but that was really impressive.
It was so pretty.
All right, you basically give her some studies to do and start instructing her on the finer points of controlling where your fireball goes. I'm assuming your apprentice is also going to be an evocation specialist. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we can have double the fireballs, kind of a question.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay.
That just sounds like a sorcerer with extra steps. Wait, you can't twin spell a fireball, can you?
No, you cannot.
No, but you can always have an apprentice cast fireball.
The more people
Yeah.
in the party that
More
can cast
fireballs.
fireball, the better off you are. Absolutely.
Okay, so
Now, and you were saying
fireball that avoids hitting our own team.
yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. She'll have that too. Awesome. So, and Lawrence, you were saying that we could rent like a joint lodging or a clubhouse for us to hang out together, so that we're not
So I needed to drop 1,000 gold on this essentially for a building. Effectively, that's to rent it for about a month. That it's large enough for all of you.
Oh shit.
It's well defended too.
right.
Defensible.
And,
Let's put it this way. Basically, there isn't such a thing in South Ward per se because you're finding cheap and large. If you want actually something defensible with actual like good security, you're gonna have to rent something out of North Ward, which is probably looking north of like 2,000, 3,000. So
I'm going to talk to the. Is it okay if I talk to the battle mistress and see if there is a place that she knows of that she could give us a good recommendation or a.
I would normally recommend. I have a good inn that I recommend normally, but I don't want to put them in danger. So you're on your own devices for that.
I mean, like,
tracks.
that's
Like,
fair.
No, it's like you're gonna be
fair.
insulted by like all sorts of the undead. It's just like I like that inn. It's like I like the inn.
Yeah, we could try and shack up at St. Mary's, but I think that's the same thing, right? I mean, we're like vampire magnets.
Yes, you've made some powerful enemy. You've made a powerful enemies. So you're probably tracking them to other people's doorsteps is probably not a great idea, especially if you still want to be allies with these people.
Yeah, so I think, let's see if we can rent a place where we can all be, and let's just try, especially at night, on always be together. Let's
Okay,
not
so
go
your
out
options
alone.
are cheap and spacious, or more secure and less spacious, essentially, but more money. So
if we go the cheap route, Zumlar will definitely try to shore up areas that he thinks they'll come out and like try to get like extra.
fair enough. I'm saying you get like a like a old 2-story Tudor house or something along those lines. That shares a wall, so it's like a townhouse with another building. In South Wark, that's sort of the type of thing you can rent there. In North Ward, you might be able to get a brownstone or basically Victorian style home of brick and mortar that actually is next to the police station or next to other basically security. But you're looking at 2 or 3K other than 1K. So
Maybe we should start off at 1,000 and then see. I don't.
okay, fair enough. All right, so that is where we're going to end it for this particular evening. You've purchased you basically talked to a landlord and find a home. You mentioned not a whit of basically any possible property damage or being assaulted by undead. It's like, yes, we just need an adventurer's house essentially for our group of freelancers. We're forming a business.
Can we?
Landlord,
Uh-huh.
the landlord basically looks you all with a wary eye at you all with a wary eyes, like, all right, that'll be a 500 gold deposit essentially, and first month's rent up front.
Can we ask some of the Paladins of Mercy if their mages can consecrate around the townhome?
Or say essentially we could say you can do that yourselves. You've got 2 paladins,
2.5
and
paladins.
a druid. I think you can consecrate your own stuff. So it'll cost, what is it? It'll be 300 gold in materials essentially to consecrate your house. So because you need holy water and powdered silver and various other things basically, and it's based on the area that you need to cover over. So
I can make holy water.
Okay.
As part of ceremony. I'm just saying. I know that's
I'm
not
saying
going
it's
to
sort of
decrease
like
the
you
cost.
still need like the materials though, so it's like you might get it at half cost, but just like effectively that's what so you have some reduced costs because you're the people doing the ceremony, but inevitably I'm just saying to cover your whole house you're looking at about 300 gold worth of powdered silver and holy water to make that happen.
That seems
Okay.
like money well spent, guys.
Okay, so your house is consecrated at this point. Normal undead can't wander around in there without taking damage and making saves to even enter it. So
We should
Now,
consecrate the street as well, and bless the trees and the rocks.
well, I'm saying the public area is just like it's not possible. Essentially, there's generally too much traffic. It's like so inside the boundaries of your house, essentially, yes, but like public areas is just not possible. You would have to basically make it like you would normally have to be a church for that to make that happen to have full holy
Okay.
grounds. So
so
Yeah.
Al, if somebody comes to the door and knocks on the door and you answer the
Open
door
the door.
and they ask to come in, do you let them in the house?
If they offer biscuits.
No.
Like,
If
no
anybody
chance.
asks to come in the house, you don't let them in.
Owl, look me in the eye and repeat after me.
Owl is trying so
Do
hard,
not
but
let
he can't.
people in the house.
But what if they're really sad and need a hug?
You could go outside and hug
actually.
them, but they could be a vampire. Vampires have to ask permission to come in the house. So anybody who asks permission to come in the house could be a vampire, and we need several of us to take a look at the situation before anybody comes in.
and then the other thing that all of you have realized is that Benedict Davenport doesn't mind burning down the house with you guys in it, so you may
Don't need
want
to be invited in if
fireproofing
you.
your house.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
maybe blast proof too.
Look at
Yeah. It's not always just me, guys. Gosh. Owl's just pouting.
We did
All
burn
right.
down some of his buildings. It wouldn't be, yeah.
Well,
Someone
essentially,
goes
that has
ahead.
been his
That's right.
tactical the whole time. Every church you've hidden out in, he's just trying to burn you out of it.
Do
So
we want to wear some disguises while we're wandering around so maybe we're not so obvious for the people that are probably looking for us? Or
I mean, that's not
yeah,
a
that
bad
sounds
idea.
like a good caution.
Okay,
especially
I know
if we're
some
coming
people.
back to the house. So
all right.
Dirk,
So does anybody actually have a disguise kit in your group? I.e., have
Dirk does, and he is
All right, fair enough.
proficient. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Give me 3 rolls total for your team, and we'll see the quality of your disguises.
I do have a disguise kit or a hat of disguise.
You do have a hat of disguise, but you also are one of those people that stand out like tremendously. Normally, it's like because you won't be able to disguise your armor in a lot of cases.
A 4,
No.
a 6, and a 12. Oh, that was just straight D20. Now, do I get a proficiency on that?
Yes, yeah. Add your proficiency bonus plus wisdom or intelligence, whichever is better for you, or charisma. Any
yeah,
one of those 3 stats.
Charisma, so plus 3. So that'd be plus 7. Okay,
Plus 7.
so
Okay,
that
so we
would
got
be
11, 13, and a 19. All right, so decent, but not inspired. Let's put it that way. So, but then again, essentially, you're just sort of look like normal civilians. So it's just like, so long as no one's looking particularly carefully, essentially, they probably won't spot you. All right, so that we'll pick it up here next week, essentially with. It's been about 2 or 3 days in this building. You haven't basically been assaulted in the evening as of yet, so but you have this feeling of danger every evening as something's bad is gonna happen sooner than later, and that's where we're gonna pick it up next week.
Is there any way we could have like the battle mistress and her paladins like just on standby? So we do get attacked.
She gives you a sending stone to say if you have need, call for me. I'll have a detachment on call. But no, we're not basically. We can't just hang around in Southwark.
No, that's what I meant. Yeah.
We have certain arrangements with the. I guess it would be the Procurers Guild, basically, and the Drovers Guild, and the Beggars Guild, that we are not going to permanently station troops within Southwark. It's part of
that's what I meant.
peace, unfortunately, so I can't just keep troops on the street.
fair enough. They would be targets that way, and we don't want to do that.
It's more along the lines we have an agreement, essentially, that they don't cause too much trouble, and they alert us of any major activity in South Warwick that might be a danger to the crown, so long as we do not enforce the laws to the full extent of our ability.
That's what I meant. Yeah, just so I need them.
So we'll be on
Cover.
call, but we cannot station. I unfortunately cannot station troops around your house.
Good session, Lawrence. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Lance.
Good evening, everybody.
Night night.
Bye.
Good night.